Saudi Vision 2030, often referred to as simply Project 2030, is a government program that has been launched by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Announced first on April 25, 2016, by the government of KSA, its goals were to diversify the economy and lower the country's dependence on fossil fuels. The line is a part of this project and is a linear smart city that is being constructed in Neom. This huge project, led by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, aimed to develop Saudi Arabia as a center for international trade, innovation, and tourism. However, there have been numerous obstacles slowing down its advancement, both structural and economic, as well as social and political. The line will be a single-building city that will be 170 kilometers long and will have tall mirrored skyscrapers. High-speed trains will provide transport to the residents between the two ends of the city. The line is projected to host 9 million people and be free of automobiles, streets, and carbon emissions. Economic challenges have been the biggest hurdle in the way of the development of the line. Research has shown that the Saudi government has not been very successful in drawing significant investments and financial resources from foreign companies and governments. Initially, it was planned that this project is to be completed by the year 2030. However, due to insufficient funding, it may not be completed until 2050, and with increasing time to completion, costs are also expected to be a lot higher. The Public Investment Fund, PIF, is the Kingdom's sovereign wealth private investment fund and is financing this project. Discussions have taken place with international companies, including some Russian ones, to assist in building the infrastructure. However, in terms of financial agreements, the government has not seen much success. The PIF is highly dependent with regards to financial viability on the kingdom's oil exports, which is a market that has seen a lot of fluctuation in the recent years. In 2020 alone, Riyadh saw a fiscal deficit of over $79 billion. The financing of this project is facing some uncertainty because the oil market, which is responsible for 60% of the financial resources of the country, saw some decline in progress. In addition, because of a choice to be less dependent on oil, a 5% value-added tax had been introduced in 2018, which was later raised to 15% in 2020. Because of this tax pressure and inflation, many Saudis that would eventually be facing the burden of this major project expressed their unhappiness with having to spend so lavishly on such projects. Moreover, the COVID pandemic had also slowed down the development of the project and disrupted its financing, which was something that had not been anticipated during the planning phase. Another reason that this project is failing is because it has set unrealistic goals. It aims to lower dependence on oil from 90% to 50% in a matter of only 7 years. It wishes to increase non-oil exports to $140 billion from just $16 billion by the year 2030. It aims to achieve $100 billion in foreign investments by the same year. It hopes to create almost 1.2 million jobs. It also hopes to strengthen the tourism sector, aiming to have at least 30 million tourists by 2030. It has a goal to have half of all electricity come from renewable sources. It also aims to significantly increase training programs and education. All these are overambitious goals that will be difficult to achieve in the given time due to insufficient resources and infrastructure, heavy dependence on oil, a lack of institutional capacity, vague implementation strategies, potential risks, and low adaptability and flexibility. The line, being a smart city project, primarily relies on technology in order to be successful. Saudi Arabia ought to have the most up-to-date technology for this project. However, that is not the case, and it's facing numerous obstacles. A major portion of Saudi Arabia's IT infrastructure, almost 75%, is outdated. Around 40% of government organizations lack a dedicated or hardworking IT department, which has significantly slowed down progress. According to Cybersecurity Ventures, 85% of Saudi organizations had suffered cyber attacks in 2020, which threatened data security. Over half of Saudi businesses lack cybersecurity strategies that have left them susceptible to attacks. The skill gap, half the Saudi workforce lacks digital skills, according to the World Bank, whereas 20% of the youth does not have access to digital training. As for research and development, only 0.5% of the GDP is allocated to it. Saudi Arabia will have to overcome these challenges if the line is to be successful. If a massive project like the line is to be a reality, it's going to need a huge and highly dedicated workforce. And while this project may be a symbol of the future of urban living whose first priority is the people, it's not exactly true when it comes to the laborers that are working on it. The line is planned to be completed by 2030, and for that, it depends on a large workforce. However, with that, the treatment of this workforce has been brought into question. A major portion of the Saudi workforce is composed of migrant workers, but the kafala system that has been operating the kingdom has not been granting these workers their rights. This system makes the worker dependent on the employer for residence, entry, and employment in the country, but it puts them at serious risk of passport confiscation, delayed or even unpaid wages, and many other troubles. There have been labor reforms, but they have failed to protect the workers. Saudi Arabia has been heavily criticized for its poor treatment of workers, which has included long working hours in the heat without proper rest, lack of proper housing, health care, or sanitation facilities, inadequate protection from hazards or accidents at the workplace, restrictions on travel and communication, verbal and physical abuse by employers or supervisors, and limited or no access to the legal system. This has been causing problems for the project because the mistreatment of workers causes them to quit or flee, leading to delays and reduced productivity. Unhappy and unmotivated workers, which leads to lower efficiency and poor quality of work, fatalities and legal liabilities due to poor safety, social unrest, strikes and protests due to worker dissatisfaction, and increased costs. If the line is to be completed on time, Saudi Arabia is going to have to prioritize workers' safety and provide them with their rights. The line has also faced significant social challenges. In order to acquire land to build the line, many indigenous people were forcibly displaced from their homes. These are the people of the Huwaitat tribe in the northwestern region of Saudi Arabia. They were either evicted from their homes or harassed until they left. Not only that, many members of the tribe were even offered thousands of dollars to disown Abdul Rahim, the man who had resisted eviction and was later killed by Saudi government officials. There is evidence that also shows excessive force being used on the residents of the Al-Qaraiba village for the same reasons. Apart from that, the Saudi prince wishes to establish diplomatic relations with other nations through the line. This involves negotiations with Israel, which has led to controversy. Another aspect of these issues is the change in social norms that's going to take place. In order to gain popularity with other nations, particularly those in the West, the government plans to allow alcohol, and the way people dress is also likely to change. All this isn't going to be welcomed easily. The line is to be an environmentally friendly project with zero carbon emissions. However, that will be once it's made because it's making itself, isn't it? It is estimated its construction will produce more than 1.8 billion tons of carbon dioxide, which is more than 4 years of all of the UK's emissions. It is also going to be damaging to biodiversity. One such example is the harm its mirrored structures will cause to migrating birds. We have seen some examples of why this mega project is failing. Many even say this project should be terminated altogether. However, if the Saudi government wishes to continue and hopes for it to do more good than harm, it would have to clear all of these issues. If you enjoyed this video, then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell icon so you always stay updated about upcoming videos. See you in the next one.